where their job is to wait until someone's mad and then get fired for something that they had nothing to do with. Like that's their whole position, basically, at some like obscure.
But how
company.
do you fire them? Because then they get pulled into the office and like, oh, by the way, you're fired. Like,
No,
that's funny.
it's
yeah,
a big
that's good training. No, you're really fired. No, that's great. Yeah, I like the commitment to the bit. That's great. I'm gonna go on break real quick.
Fired?
No, you actually don't work here. This is not a joke. This is HR. Yeah, it's great that you hired a fake HR for the fake fire person. It's great, wonderful.
How do you
fire that? It's impossible. It wasn't ready. It was like, hey man, we were getting ready. We were setting up the procedures. There's a whole like 10-step process. We were on step 2. What the hell happened? I went, it was Luth. Somebody get salt water.
May. Mother's Day somewhere in there. June,
I wouldn't know.
July.
Why you get rubbed in? Welcome to All Topics No Pizza, where we start with a single idea, then add new topics until we end up yelling at each other because we forgot what we were talking about. I am Matt, also known as Rhuminus.
That felt very targeted. It's me. It's always me. It's just me. I'm Deion.
And who are you?
I said it. I said my name. You didn't hear it. You were laughing too hard.
I was too jovial, too jesting. All right, so Deion, we're gonna do a little improv skit. Are you ready?
I'm not, but okay.
All right. So we're going to imagine that we're going to be talking on the phone, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to act as if... What?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. I want you to act as if you are just answering the phone. You don't know who's called. Well, you probably would because you've goddamn caller ID. But let's say, since you have a phone, you recognize the number, we're going to do a little exercise. All right?
Yeah, okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ring, ring. Ring,
hello?
ring. Thank you, for the love of God. Holy shit. Do you have any idea how many fucking people answer the phone and then I hear
nothing?
Just nothing. Not anything. And it's even worse. Sometimes I hear I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Did you pick up the phone and start eating a ham sandwich? What's going on? It's just it bothers me so much. I deal with this so much at my job currently. I work for a community college and I only call people typically like 95% of my calls are within the college. So they're in the office. And the amount of people that I call, they pick up the phone. I see that they pick up the phone. Hello?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready? Did you forget that you picked up the phone? Because I just want to make sure that I wasn't unaware of some weird social change, that we stopped saying hello when you picked up the phone to register that you are ready and alert for the conversation that's about to happen.
Similar problem, but like exacerbated at my job because I work in healthcare and people call me, right? I just answer calls all day. That's all I do, right?
Yeah, it sucks.
So no.
Yeah, it sounds like it sucks.
So people's doctors, it's kind of like how in pharmacy, your doctor will send a prescription to a pharmacy, right? When I worked in pharmacy, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
So for now, doctors will send referrals for our service. I work in radiology. So like they want x-rays or MRIs or CT scans. I can't count how many people go, yeah, my doctor told me to call here to set up an appointment. Cool. An appointment for what? I don't know. Like he said he would send you the information. Do you have it? Cool. So now we need a badge. What's your name? Do I have it? What's your name? Oh, it's Abigail. I'm in your system. Cool. What's your What's your last name and your date? Like,
Okay, so I looked up Abigail. It turns out there's 573 matches. Which one are you exactly? Can you describe describe other things about you?
Right. I'd be like, hey, what's your and I don't even ask, like, what's your first and last name? Oh, my last name is, Johnson. I'm in the system. Okay, that's nice. I actually say that's nice. Like, that's nice. What's your first name? What's your date of birth? Because I guarantee you're not the only John Smith. Or whatever you think. Yo, I used to think that when I first started this job, I was like, oh, okay, first name, that's probably good enough.
No.
Because I didn't realize how ununique this name was. Like, there's like 30 of you in the state alone. It's ridiculous. Like, I've never heard someone spell it that way before. They spell Abigail with like an R, and it's like 6 of them.
What?
Like I'm like, I don't know how this is true, but I need your last name. They're like, are you serious? No, I'm just teasing you. I like to have fun on my job. Tell me your name. So annoying.
No, the greatest part of my job is listening to you whine and bitch about how long this is taking. Let's go.
Oh my god, that's another thing. Listen, I don't really have a lot of time here. I thought it was gonna be kind of quick. Can we speed this up? We'd be almost done if you wouldn't stop interrupting and asking dumb questions like, can we speed this up? Okay, what do you need? For you to speak clearly and answer my questions the first time.
Yes.
Like,
And when I ask a question, you need to go, why do you need that? Because I'm setting up your appointment. Holy shit.
do you really need all that information? No, I'm just a creep. You call it a company that hires creeps. Yep, you got the one person in the entire company that asks unnecessary questions for fun. Because I like dragging this out.
Use basic common sense. If you're calling a healthcare system, particularly one that deals with more specialized equipment or surgeries or scans or whatever, they're probably going to need a lot of information. If you're calling me, who works in IT, and I ask, so what medical issues do you have? Yeah, that's a time to say, do you really need that information?
Yeah.
But I also have the same problem where I've called people and go, I need this, 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 and this. I need you to do this and this. They're like, do you really need me to turn my computer off and on? Yes. It is not a joke. That fixes half of your problems because shit gets stuck in the RAM and the memory and there's an overload. Turn it off and on. Does it work? Oh, it does. Fantastic. Do that next time. Don't call me again.
Don't call me again.
I wish I could say that.
I know, right?
I am flabbergasted the amount of people who are constantly uppity with IT in particular. Just because I learned from a young age, you don't fuck with people who make your food, who mess with your cars, who do your plumbing, basically who perform a service for you, any sort of tradesman. So because my thing is the amount of people who upset, like, generally it's not too bad. Some people just have an attitude, and that's understandable. You're dealing with technology. Things are not going right. I get pissed off. I yell at the computer. You don't yell at me, though. That's the difference. The minute that you yell at me, I hang up the goddamn phone. You're going to learn. But there are many people, and I don't understand why, where I go, okay, I'm going to need to research this and try to figure it out. And they go, you can't just figure it out right now? I mean, I can. It's going to take me a few hours. I'm going to take my fucking time. Is that what you want? You want me to sit on the call and Google with you and go, what the fuck does this do? Trust me. I don't know every goddamn answer. I have to research and test. I'm more than happy to sit here and waste your time. Is that what you want? No. Fuck off and go away. Let me come back in 30 minutes so I have an answer.
No, because if you did, like, is this really supposed to take this long? I thought you would just know. I thought that you would just know that you didn't call a genie service.
Yeah.
We don't magically fix your problems. This takes real work and effort. Like,
but it's a communication. Communication to me is a big one, and I know it is to you as well.
Oh, I could do this right now if you really want. I can go on the communication.
We're gonna go into it because my big thing is connotation and connotation. So in English class, if you remember, there's a difference between the author's mood and voice, and that is basically the mood and voice is the difference between what the author says and intends and what is received. So the biggest way I can say this in language, it's called connotation, where if I say, Deion, I had to use strength to open the door. What does that mean?
You use literally your muscles.
Yeah.
Physically, you strained yourself.
Yeah. All right. And then compare that to, I use force to open the door. What does that mean?
Oh, that you did something that the door didn't like.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So,
yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And that's the clearest way, because I explained it to, and it is not a joke since I work in IT, but I used to be a teacher, I used to work in retail, I am not bad at communication. I'm not bad at making jokes. I can handle myself in social situations. I don't like to. I don't like to deal with any of this, but that's just part of the way life goes. The amount of people in IT who have never had those jobs, have never had to deal with any of that, never worked jobs before, cannot communicate and don't understand connotation. They don't understand that what you said may not have meant to be rude, but it was. So in the door example, I use strength to open the door compared to I use force. To me, if someone says I forced open the door, it means
they
that
probably
door
broke the door.
Yeah, you probably broke the door. It might be off of hinges. It's going to need some repairs. If you use strength to open the door, it means that it might be rusty, it might be stuck, it might be summer where it's swollen and kind of like angled upwards.
Right.
That's the kind of difference. And that's the difference between connotation, where force and strength and might all mean the same basic thing of raw power. The connotation is that you use them in different circumstances, and that is why language and translation is actually very difficult, because you need to know these different nuances. And so for me, connotation is a big one, because when people get mad at you about something, or mad or upset or scared or any sort of emotion that you didn't intend to have, and you need to take a step back and go, what did I say?
What did I sound like?
Yeah, what did I sound like? How did I say it? Now, Deion, the person who loves to go on about communication, I will let you go on whatever rant that you decide to go on.
It's fine. It's just I do this so often. I don't even know if I've probably done it already. It's just you would think that a species of people whose entire primary mode of like day-to-day living situation, like we've constructed these grand societies. We've designed 20 different ways to physically communicate. You can text someone, call someone, Facebook message. You could FaceTime them. You could video call them. You could email them, literally mail them. Like, we have dozens. There's emojis. There's you can send people memes. You would think that people who were seemingly obsessed with the diverse and the massively diverse ways that we communicate, you'd think that, generally speaking, most people would be better at it. And it's frustrating. That, right? It's to the point that I would pull out. I could pull out my hair over this. Like, the way that people just fail to communicate on a regular basis, whether it's at your job, or it's in your family, or if it's with your significant other, or if it's between you and your boss, or you and your mentor, or your teacher, or just strangers. People fail to communicate on such a regular basis. It's a blinding miracle that society at large hasn't collapsed numerous times over. Some people would argue that it has, and that we're just, quote, too big to fail. Like, we exist in so many different versions of society. We have so many different, size pockets of community. There's you and your, significant other. There's you and your friends. There's you and your family. There's you in your neighborhood. There's you on the road with people. There's you at your job with people. There's you in your county, in your city, in your state. There's you in your country, right? We have all these concentric circles of groups of people that, even though for the most part, our society doesn't function, it does, because you can just ignore enough of the problems that most people just think that being rude is normal and fine. And it's like, it doesn't have to be normal and fine. We can be polite to each other, and then most people will just brush that off. They're just like, no, it's not necessary, because since you won't communicate with most people that you see or hear from during the day, like on your commute or at work, you can afford to just have a bad experience with them and move on, because of the chances that you meet them again and have to have the consequences from the social faux pas that you've performed of being rude. The consequences are essentially nil, and I hate that.
And that
personally, I hate that. Like, why we've done all of these things, we've done all of this advancement to make communication easier and diverse, and there's hundreds of languages. Right, you can choose exactly how you want to communicate. If you don't want to talk, you can learn a sign language and then we've got a few dozen of those. I don't know how many, but you have so many options, and yet people choose to flip you off on the road, honk their horns instead of actually just obeying regular road laws, and that would have happened. We have all of these opportunities to connect with one another and to be kind and compassionate and actually form communal bonds and lift each other up, and meet each other's needs, again, at every level of society, and we just don't because it's technically not necessary for survival.
Yeah, and it goes along with, connotation, and like honking your horn can mean 7 different things, and it depends in the context in someone's mind. Someone that's already frustrated and maybe in bumper-to-bumper traffic already is pissed off at you. When instead, maybe you're honking the horn to let you know that there's a cop on the road, or that there's something going on ahead, or that you get a flat tire.
I had an ex-girlfriend that was like that, where she didn't like something or she was mad about something, she didn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, I get that. You should be able to communicate when you're upset or when you're frustrated. But some people haven't reached that level of like maturity or just communication. I'm like, okay, we can talk about it later. She'd be like, no.
Well, there are times, and I've done this before, where I've had an ex-girlfriend or I've been talking with one of you guys, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm too frustrated. I'm stressed. I need to take a 5-minute break. And that's fine.
It's reasonable.
It's fine to take a break.
It's reasonable. Yeah, she'd be like, I'd be like, yeah, we can talk about this later. It's fine. It's not pressing. And she'd be like, no, I don't want to talk about this. And I'd be like, that's fine. We can do it later. And she'd be like, you don't understand. This will never come up again. And I'd be like, okay, so first of all, fat chance. Because this is like, it's not pressing, but it is serious. And so every time she ever got upset about anything, or if something didn't go her way, or if it was just upsetting for her, she would shut down communication, wouldn't answer my calls or wouldn't respond to text, would leave the room, go do whatever. And for her, that was her resolving the issue, because she wasn't like blowing up on you, or she wasn't, making a scene like, oh no, that she was good at communication because she didn't communicate in a toxic way. And I'm like, this is almost just as toxic. And I'm just like, you can't just ghost your issues. Like, it does not work. Yeah. It just exacerbates them in the future. And that's literally what ended the relationship. Like, things kept piling up. And I'm like, you're still mad about something you never wanted to talk about. I mean, you don't want to resolve it. So, like, what do you expect me to do?
When I was younger, they would say that, women communicate more, they're more open, they're more this, and then men are staunch and stone, and they don't communicate, they just grunt and punch things. That's not entirely true. I've had women who refused to talk, and they were terrible communicators, and I've had men that were great communicators, and vice versa. And I've also had people in varying degrees. Humans are unique. They are different in all sorts of ways. My dad, in particular, is terrible with communication in the sense that he does not explain the situation. He'll just send you a text after 4 or 5 days going, sister home. What does that mean? Because this was when I was living with him. Like, does this mean that my sister is home? Are you asking my sister is home? Is sister coming home? What's going on? What's happening? Because this could be taken 5 different ways, and I need to be clear which one's happening because I need to go to work. And then it would take like 6 or 7 text messages because he would continue to talk in that manner of just giving me very like he was supposed to be typing in like
Morse code or something where it's like the most minimal message possible.
Exactly. If he had just said, your sister is home, perfect, wonderful, great. That's all I needed. But instead, he said, sister home.
Sister home. Well, stop. Got off train 3 hours ago. Stop. Picked her up at airport.
You pick her up. Yeah, exactly. He would be like, no, your sister is home. What is so hard about that to understand? I'm like, because you didn't put words in the message. All I have are nouns. I don't have any verbs.
This isn't even really English at this point. You've just sort of... You
caveman shit.
You've done the effective version of like... Yeah, grunting at me. Like you grunted at me in text. This is what you did. You gestured textually. How did you do that?
Speaking of which, speaking of communication, what is with people in grocery stores? All right. So again, another exercise.
Okay.
Deion,
sure.
What's a food item that you like to have?
Cheese.
Anything. Could be peanut butter, bread, or whatever. Cheese. Okay. Let's say you can't find the cheese in the store. You've been looking for 5 or 10 minutes. You don't want to bother people in the middle, but you see me working. You see me in a uniform. First of all, see me in a uniform. Holy shit. And then you want to find the cheese. So what do you say to me to find the cheese?
In uniform. I know for a fact that you work there.
Yeah.
Like
I'm working there. I'm working boxes. I'm in uniform. You see me there. Sure. I salute everybody and say, I work for a grocery store.
Hey, excuse me. So, where do you guys keep this cheese product that I like?
Fantastic. I would respond. I would respond. The cheese product is over there. What I have gotten on way too many occasions when I've both worked for grocery stores and now that I work for a vendor company that doesn't work for the grocery stores, and that's why I say in uniform, because the amount of people, side note, the amount of people who say, hey, where's this thing? And I go, I don't know. I work for the vendor. And they go, really? I don't believe you. in some. I've had people literally go, right, funny joke, and I'm like, I'm in sweatpants. My hair is in 5 different directions. It's completely disheveled. I got a hole in my shirt, and I'm wearing logos. I am not at all in uniform, and I'm stocking only the vendor product. I don't work for the store. I can understand somewhat if you're not paying attention or you didn't see that, how you would think I work for the store. But after I explained it, how could you possibly expect me to know where things are?
This is so dumb. I saw a video where this lady was like, I want to talk to your manager. And the person had started recording at some point because they didn't believe this was happening. They thought they were getting pranked or something.
Yeah,
and or
they thought they were
or they just wanted to make sure that they didn't get sued or whatever. I don't know. But they were recording and they were like, I'm a customer shopping. I'm in street clothes, even if I did work here, I'm in street clothes. So even if I did work here, which I don't, I'm off the clock. Which I'm not because I don't work here. I just don't work here, right?
I am off the clock, but also don't work for the store.
Right? And so and this lady kept following around talking about, where's my manager? Get off your break and help me. I'm a customer. I demand help. And it's like, lady, you can talk to the manager if you want. They can't fire me. I don't work here. They didn't believe me. So the whole video is just like this lady following the OP around who was taking the video, and it was like, get the manager. I don't care. And so the manager shows up, and it's like, ma'am, this person does not work. The manager came and was like, this person does not work for us. It was like, and this is what the lady said. Oh, so you're just going to cover for your employee now? Oh, I'm going to take this to corporate. You think you can get away with this? And I don't remember if this is something I saw in a different video or because I'm probably mixing two different things up. But I saw that, and either I saw a different video where the manager was like, okay, fine. Hey, you're fired. Pack your things and go home. Or like it was like I've seen like comments, people talking about, oh yeah, I'm a professional get fired person, where their job is to wait until someone's mad and then get fired for something that they had nothing to do with. Like that's their whole position basically at some like obscure company. It's like, yeah, you're here to get fired on a regular basis so that we can appease people. Because you know how they're still
how do you fire them? Because then they get pulled into the office and like, oh, by the way, you're fired. Like,
no,
that's funny. It's that's good training. No, you're really fired. No, that's great. Yeah, I like it. I like the commitment to the bit. That's great. I'm gonna go on break real quick. Fired? No, you actually don't work here. This is not a joke. This is HR. Yeah, it's great that you hired a fake HR for the fake fire person. It's great, wonderful. How do you fire that? It's impossible.
So how do you get to the point where you're like, I've mistakenly identified a false employee? I've gotten the real manager.
And then refuse.
And the manager is also in on it. I'm the main character, and everyone is working against me. Like the amount, now if there was any doubt, yes, the perpetrator was a white woman. Yes, her name was Karen. Like, obviously, right? But it's just like, I just...
What? Hold on. Her haircut, what was it like? Was it bob?
No,
like, parted to the right? Frosted tips?
You can imagine what you want. It works. I don't think that video I saw, the original one where the woman was like, go get your manager. And she's like, okay, go find the manager. I don't work here. Like, I think that original video was not fake. Because I can see it being like, oh, I'm tired of you, lazy millennial. Also, yeah, because the person was doing like millennial slander. Why are we still getting blamed for young people things? I'm not saying I'm not youthful. I'm only 28.
They were playing our rock music at the bachelor party. There was never a defining dad, old person moment that they were going, we're going to play classic 90s rock. And they go, oh shit, gentlemen, this is it.
Oh yeah.
We've reached old status when they're playing our music that we heard growing up on the overhead. This is it. This is over.
Yeah, at the bowling alley.
This is classic.
Yeah. When they start playing the music you went to high school with at the bowling alley, you've gotten old. Good job. You did it. I don't understand why older people, generations, mostly, boomers and I don't know any Gen X people, but I don't understand why in media specifically, why we still get blamed for trends that happened. Like a few years ago, like 10 years ago, in that whole decade, we got blamed for killing industries. You know, millennials kill diamond industry. Millennials kill restaurant industry, not going out as much. What's the reason? It's because you don't pay it as much enough to go out.
Let me fix it for you. These industries failed to accommodate the new customers that were coming in, and therefore died as a result because they did not have a product that was worth buying at the time.
Right. But no. But millennials kill the industry.
Oh, I know. We blame us for everything. Like, we killed the housing market. Bitch, I was 14. What was I supposed to do?
And I understand how during the period of time with and it's what's crazy is I get why it happens. We grew up, right, as millennials during an insane technological boom that lasted over a decade. It wasn't just like the 90s and 2000s were like a crazy technological boom. It continued to boom through the 2010s, right? So once millennials were of like, I guess, working age, right? From the time that we were 10 to 18, nothing we did mattered because we were teenagers. But as soon as the bulk of our generation became adults, everything that didn't work was our fault because technically we had entered the workforce. And so when things stopped working politically, things were our fault. And everyone knows what I'm talking about. Every other buzz, it wasn't even buzz, every other like legitimate quote big quotes, by the way, legitimate news source was like, are millennials the reason that this industry is failing? Like you don't even have to pull, you can pull up the Onion if you want and find satirical articles, but you can Google, are millennials the reason for, and then press spacebar and Google will populate a list of articles that have come out that blamed us for dozens of results. Things. Yeah. And it's just like,
millennials the reason that we have mosquitoes. Like, are millennials the reason that we have arthritis?
So my job, I have to ask people to send me like pictures of their doctor's referrals sometimes.
Yes.
And I've had 84-year-old women be like, oh, okay. Well, my grandson just showed me how to do that. Give me 1 second. Doop. Did you receive it? And it'll pop up on my screen like no problem. And then I'll have people that are like 54 and then be like, oh, I don't know how to do all that fancy tech stuff. Can't you just ask my doctor for me? No, I can't ask your doctor for you. Yes, you know how to text. Oh, my phone doesn't do that. Your iPhone doesn't do that. Okay.
I have a rotary phone. I don't know how to use that.
Like I don't like you have a flip phone? Because if you have literally a Nokia from after 2000, your phone can do this. Your phone can send a text message.
Sure, it's gonna be blurry. It's gonna be shit. But you know what? I have it.
Like you're 2021. So you got your phone. Like I don't think there's a single phone that exists in the past 10 years that can't send a picture. So you're telling me that your phone is over 10 years old. It still works. You haven't dropped it yet. You don't know how to use it.
I get so mad, and I know you do too, but I get so mad at the people who I get so mad at the people who are like, I'm just not good with technology. No, you're not good with life, is what you're doing.
No, because, so you just decided to check out 20 years ago? Really?
No, not even 30. Computers have been around since the 90s. They've been in mainstream workplaces and schools since the 90s. Sure, they were not as popular, they were not as widespread, but they've been there. And for you to not know how to open Word and save and do certain basic shit is a problem.
It's a major problem. Okay, but what kills me is like, so it's definitely I feel like boomers have like lost their generational status, and it's just an attitude. Like it's just your relationship with technology, regardless of your age. Because it's always, I really have problems with people over 80 that are calling on their own to schedule their appointment. But people like in their mid 50s and 60s always give me the most, and that's not even the correct age range. So it's very confusing which of them is actually boomers.
I want to ask the question because my entire life I heard, well, teenagers think they know everything. Like, well, my dad, who's 50, thinks he knows everything and he's empirically wrong all the fucking time. I don't think that it was teenagers that know everything. I think teenagers definitely are arrogant at times. I think it was that old people thought I knew everything, and before the internet, no one could fact check them. And now that we can fact check you in an instant, you got a problem with it, and that's why you get so angry about it.
I still have not tumultuous, like a sort of like cautious relationship with someone checking their phone to fact check you mid conversation, because I've done it, and I expect it to be done. But if I know I'm right, and you pull out your phone to fact check me, I'm a little mad about it. Like, it's okay, but honestly, like, you remember like conversations in elementary school and middle school, and you just had to like, or people told you like, oh yeah, try this. Oh, do you know, like, they tell you, like, fun facts about our video games. Like, remember, like, the Mew glitch that was famous?
Oh, I don't want to talk about the amount of shit I heard about Pokemon.
Right,
and how
exactly.
to get Mew, and I spent hours trying to get that bitch, and it turns out you fucking can't.
It makes no sense.
I refuse to play Pokemon without a spacebar to speed up 200%.
No, but,
like
like
500%. Holy shit, that game is so slow.
Before you can get the running shoes or the bike. Yo, when I first...
Well, even then, like, the game was designed back in the 90s.
When you didn't have anything but time. You got...
Yeah, I don't have time anymore.
You got out of school. You did your 2 worksheets of easiest math questions in the world. I understand that some people struggle with math. You do 2 worksheets of multiplication tables. And then you have 6 hours until dinner. What do you... I'm going to play Pokemon for 6 hours in a row.
And then after that, you have 8 hours before school, and God forbid you go to bed at 9 o'clock like you're supposed to. No. I'm staying up till 2 a.m.
Oh, when they invented, or when we got access to backlit, the Game Boy SP with the back, man. That was a mistake. They shouldn't have invented
Do you remember sitting in the car with your Game Boy Advance or your Game Boy?
Waiting for a street light?
Your hands over the screen, hoping for any ambient light to come in so you could see anything.
Playing it street light by street light.
Yeah. One step at a time, baby. I know what it's like to be in those caves. I've lived that life.
Yeah, I used to steal batteries. I used to freeze them. I used to do anything for a couple of extra minutes on my game. Yo, I have like the screen from when the Game Boy would fade out due to a power failure. Like, it's burned in my mind. I know exactly how it fades out. I have the bling burned into my sound bank, you know. And now we can I don't know what's the most
now I can stream. I stream games in 1080 or 4K. To other people who want to play it, and 60
sometimes
frames per second,
live,
which is bananas. It's bananas.
I used to on the car ride home wait for streetlights to play video games bit by bit because the screen was black.
Yeah,
and now I can watch someone 16,000 miles away from me play a game live in 4K. And tell him that he's playing it wrong.
I used to play games and look at the loading screen, and then after 4 or 5 minutes go, I think it froze.
After 4 or 5 minutes, because that was a reasonable load time.
Sometimes it would take that long, and the loading screens didn't have any animation often, so there was just a black screen that said loading with random text. You would just sit there and wait.
One of my favorite loading screens.
It would freeze.
One of my favorite loading screens.
And that was your life.
From my childhood was on Baldur's Gate 2 because the loading screen said the word loading on fire, and if you moved the right analog stick, you could move the fire. So you knew it wasn't frozen.
Well, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, when you played computer games, you had to actually program your computer with the drivers and the software and everything to get it to run.
Please enter CD number 3.
Yeah, like, not only CD number 3, like, way back in the day, even before the CDs, you actually had to download and, like, program shit to make it work. Otherwise, it just wouldn't work.
We didn't have computers before then.
Computers weren't designed to run games. They were designed to do word processing, and that was it.
Oh, I didn't have a computer before then. We didn't have.
What you had to do.
I went from having to disconnect my phone to connect to the internet, and now the internet's in the air. I don't believe you. But my phone, it loads Google. If I ask Google, it shows up. I mean, yeah, I know someone could literally explain it and it wouldn't be that hard to comprehend. But when you think about the journey that we took, we were cavemen not even 20 years ago, comparatively. Like,
What happened?
What happened between 1800 and 1900? Mostly nothing. I mean, a bunch of wars, sure, because people got bored or horny.
The Industrial Revolution, steam power?
No. Yeah, sure.
That's a huge advancement.
Okay, yeah, it is a huge advancement. Compared to what happened between 2000 and 2021, nothing happened. That's what I'm saying. Like, huge advancements were made in technology, right? Steam, power, the printing press, et cetera, blah, blah, blah.
That was way before that.
The light bulb. Yeah, no, sure. It doesn't matter in the grand...
The printing press was the 1600s.
That would matter if the same amount of technological, like one technological advancement happened every 50 to 100 years. We've had like 25, 40 years ago. Like things are obsolete. Like, you went from Walkman to CD player to MP3 to Zune to iPod to YouTube is just on your phone in less than
YouTube,
10 years.
Spotify, and all those sorts of things of like, why do you even have a phone anymore? Here's a goddamn chip for your eye. Enjoy it.
That happened in less than 10 years. Compared to what happened before that, nothing happened. It was one advancement every century, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, an advancement happened every half year for 20 years in a row.
And we can't control it, and we can't understand it, we can't figure it out, and more importantly, we can't handle it. The amount of people who look at shit online
but exactly.
and can't figure out basic shit.
So people can't handle it. So like people in their 50s and 60s just give up. Like, I'm not good with it. To bring it all the way back around to the beginning, I'm not good with that technology stuff, bro. Like, bro, just wait, just look around and you can follow technology happening. Like, yeah, sure, it's a lot more often, but it is still incremental increases. If you just look up, you can see it happening bit by bit.
Well, it's also...
I just saw your message in Discord. This can't be true.
That is true. That is true.
That can't be true.
So what Deion is referencing is a quote from Socrates, who is the ancient Greek philosopher from 400 BCE, I want to say. I don't remember the exact dates offhand, but it's pretty close. It's 2,000 years ago. We're going to say that. We're going to round it off. And it's saying that children, they have bad manners, contempt for authority, basically saying that children suck, the younger generation suck. Because I posted it when we were talking about the millennials.
Yeah. Children, they have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. They no longer rise when elders enter the room. They contradict their parents and tyrannize their teachers. Children are now tyrants. Socrates. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, right? There's a comic about this, a webcomic that I saw, and it's just like, you know, oh, kids these days, I mean, it's the same argument. I mean, we've all heard this, the same argument again and again and again. Kids these days, they don't socialize. They're all stuck in their phones. And then there's a clip from that person's generation. They're all on the subway reading the newspaper, not talking, socializing. And it's just like, no one likes to talk to people. That's normal, bro.
I thought of a question, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily thought-provoking.
This is the problem with when we have our, when we don't have our Bing Bong. What is it?
Do you imagine yourself getting older? When you look in the mirror, do you see yourself getting older?
I see myself transforming because I don't like the way that I look, right? I'm a little bit more overweight than I would like to be, or at least I'm not in the shape that I used to be, that I want to be in today.
Yeah, but that's not indicative of getting older, though.
Older, though? I see some... I have a gray patch in the back of my head. And I've got like 3 or 4 spots where I have like gray beard hair. And I want to have like silverish. Do I want white or silver? Do you ever think about this? Do you ever think about if you want white or silver hair when you get older?
I want silver just because I think it looks better.
You don't want white, you want silver?
Yeah, I want silver. I do. I will say that women with silver hair, much attractive to me. I don't know why.
More than white hair?
Yeah.
So you think white is older than silver?
I don't think it's necessarily older. It's just I think silver is a better color. And I think that might just be social conditioning where every old person I've seen in movies and TVs has had like that stark white albino white hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I want... So my hair, I think I know now. I've checked a couple times. I've even... You know how they say if you pluck your white hairs, they come back 5 times stronger? Or like more... I
feel like that's bullshit, but I've not heard that.
It is, because I've been plucking my white beard hairs intentionally to make them grow back. And obviously that's not true, right? Because it's dumb. Why would that be true?
Well, it's the same thing of if you shave your hair, it comes up twice as thick. And I'm like, that is not true.
They just want teenage boys to not have bad peach fuzz, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a white gray. Or when I get my gray hairs, it's gonna be white instead of silver. Neither of which are gray, by the way. I don't know why we call it gray hair. I know some people kind of have grayish, but it's usually either silver or it's white.
Yeah.
Salt and pepper. Most people go through a salt and pepper phase. I'm gonna go white, which is sad. I always wanted to go silver, but as a black man, it makes sense that I'm gonna go white. Most black men that are old that have gray hair
So yeah, my question would have been: do you see yourself getting older? Do you feel it? Do you see it? Do you experience it? Or do you just imagine yourself still as 18 years old?
So I'm not going to answer your question. I've heard.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks everybody for listening. You've been all talking about pizza.
Listen.
Fuck
I've
that
heard,
is the answer.
I've heard that. So in line with your question, I've heard that a lot of people who've been like you know how like every now and again you'll get like an article about like people that are like, oh yeah, I talked to all of the people in my nursing home that I work for, and this is what they said, and most of them feel like they never really matured mentally past a certain point. Like, yeah, their body gets older, but they still think like, I could do that, and they're like 85, but that's like a 22-year-old.
I can climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Somebody get my Ethel. Ethel, get the cane.
It's like mentally you sort of tap out at a certain point. I've thought about getting older. It's like not fun though. Like, cause no. So I've not thought about getting older that much. I've felt getting older more than I've thought about it. It's kind of true how you don't really think about getting older. You just can't do as many things as you used to. Like, you could do more stupid things, and then as you get older, you just instinctively know because you've tried not to do as many stupid things until you're old enough to be like, I'm not gonna try standing up straight. That's gonna hurt you. You know, like it just continually gets
good
like
postures for losers. That's for the young. That's for the young crowd. That's for the young crowd.
Exactly.
I'm too old.
Did millennials steal the standing up straight industry?
Did millennials steal ergonomics?
Did millennials steal yoga? Like, did they just make it so no one else could do that at all? Did Millennials X is gonna be the new Florida man on this day? Have you ever did that? Type in your birthday and then Florida man and see what the news article was.
No, because I would have some hope left in my life. We could also try like, what's your favorite holiday?
What do you have? You have. I'm trying to remember all of them in order. You have New Year's, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day,
Valentine's Day. Yep.
Then there's
February, March,
then there's a
April,
solstice at some
April
point.
Fools.
April Fools. There's a solstice, and do solstice count as holidays or no?
Not to normal people.
Okay,
not
fine.
to the regular. Let me rephrase that. Not to the regular populous people.
Okay, sure. So not to
The
the
select
common
circles, maybe. Yeah.
So April Fools, April, May, Mother's Day somewhere in there, June.
I wouldn't know.
July.
Why you gotta rub it in?
I told my mom and my partner about this, that we do this. So real quick, because I have to tell people now. It's like the 19th time we've done this and no one knows why we do this. Matt's mom left him when he was 6 months old, right?
Yep.
When he was raised by his narcissistic father. Truly terrible. So Nick and I have mothers that we love and appreciate. You didn't win the other parent lottery. I won the other. I won the other parent lottery.
I got the lesser of two evils.
So like my father. I've never had a father. He was also, my father was a narcissist, but he had the grace to not try to raise a child, which you could also say that he just chose to not be the father of his child, which is terrible, which is true, right? But looking back and then also looking at my other friends' lives, I'm glad that the narcissist chose to leave me alone. Oh, goodness. Okay. What was I saying, you asshole?
So after Mother's Day is Father's Day.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. Sure. Okay, let's move on from that.
We have Labor Day and Memorial Day in there somewhere, as if anybody cares about those really.
4th of July.
They get a free day off of work.
There you go. 4th of July here in America.
4th of July. And then August, nothing except for my birthday, which everybody should celebrate.
There's not a single national holiday in August. Are you sure?
Not that I think. No, I don't think so.
Weird.
Because the next day after that is what, Labor Day or Memorial Day. I don't know which one it is because I always mix them up. One's in September, and then after that is Halloween, and then
October,
Thanksgiving,
November.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's Black Friday. Black Friday's my favorite holiday. It's the cheapest holiday.
Black Friday. Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Why Black Friday?
Because
That seems odd for you, honestly.
because furnishing an apartment is expensive, and I need it to furnish my apartment right now.
So this is a temporary favorite holiday until you satisfy the furnishings that you need.
Basically, consumerism at its best.
I will change my holiday preferences once I am fully satisfied with the furniture and amenities that I have. But until then, it is this day.
I mean, that's about as American as I can be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not entirely wrong.
You?
My favorite, honestly, is Halloween. I like the night going. I like the candy. That is the strongest connection I have from my youth. Because for Thanksgiving and Christmas, we would usually go to my grandmother's house. And it would be with my dad and my stepmom and my grandmother, who all are terrible people in different ways. And in the very stereotypical, narcissism, egotism, refusing to accept that they're wrong, just berating and egotistical and just all sorts of negative things. And it's the way I try to phrase it is that they did love me, but their love was a twisted and sick love that is not acceptable, and they refuse to acknowledge it.
Like a rose bush.
Yeah. So the way I like to explain it to people, because my grandmother just died, and everybody that didn't know who she was and my family was concerned that I was not sad or grieving in any sense of the word. And I mean, like, literally did not faze me at all. The reason being, and this is a good story to tell, we got kicked out on Christmas Day. Let me rephrase that. We got kicked out on Christmas morning. We weren't even done opening our presents, and we got kicked out for reasons that I still don't know. And it's not like, my dad said something stupid. Literally, my grandmother woke up, went to the kitchen, and then raised hell and kicked us out. To the point that we are outside in the parking lot in the cul-de-sac, putting wrapped presents in the car because we hadn't opened them yet, while she's still there screaming about how we're worthless and terrible and all sorts of things. That was Christmas. I was 10. It didn't get better as the years went on. Thanksgiving was still hosted by her at her house. It wasn't any better. So, Halloween is the only one that didn't involve any sort of those adults, and it was just me and my friends. We went out in the town, we had a good time, we got candy. I mean, everything that you would hope for as a kid. It was a good time. That is the one that I have a best connection to, and that is why it's one of my favorites. And that's why I like to get I am that guy across on the corner who has the full-size candy bars and gives them out on Christmas Day. I mean, not Christmas Day, goddamn Halloween.
I'm so, like, if kid me met adult me, he'd be so disappointed. Because I used to swear that I would never not love candy. Because candy's amazing. Duh.
Particularly as I've gotten older, sugar and sweets have never been my thing.
It physically gets harder to ingest. That your teeth are just like, spit that out. Spit that the fuck out right now, please.
We no longer have an extra pair. This is it. This is all you have. You need to take care of these bitches.
Are you serious right now? We've been over this.
There was a period in time where we could get, we had extras. We had them loose. You'd rip them out. You'd get, money from the tooth fairy. Not anymore, bitch. You have to pay thousands of dollars to fix this shit. We ain't having that.
I lost a real tooth to a Tootsie Roll one time. It was like kind of loose a little bit. And I was like, whatever. I don't know if I meant to do this or not, but I took a Tootsie Roll, like one of the flavored flavors, or one of the flavored ones, not the regular the chocolate one.
The only good Tootsie Rolls, yeah.
Yeah, and I chomped it on my loose tooth. And Tootsie Rolls are just like thick logs of sugar, and mild flavoring. Even the original one, but like it was like an orange flavored one or something. So I bit it with all on my back teeth, and I went, and on the third smack, it straight up pulled one of my back teeth out. And I was like, oh my God. No blood. It was just ready to come. You know how like your tooth's ready to come out? And so if you pull it early, you'll have like a bloody mouth or whatever. It just like I just suction cupped it off. It was, I was like, oh snap. And I felt it. Obviously, there was a tooth missing, so it was a little bit bloody, like a little bit. But no, it was a little loose. I didn't realize it was like a resident sleeper. Like it was ready to come out, but it was only a little loose because of the position of my mouth. It's all in the back, very tight, and so I just suction cupped that joint out. Didn't even mean to. Like, you know how they have people have all these stories of like, like, oh yeah, my dad slammed it into a door and pulled the tooth out. Nope. I just pulled that joint out by myself with the assistance of Tootsie Roll.
I was that psychopath in you would see in 4th or 5th grade who'd be sitting there and just yank it out of my mouth. As soon as my teeth would become loose, just yanked it out. It was awful.
I was definitely
terrified.
Messing with loose teeth with my tongue all day. I would put them I distinctly remember the sensation of getting your tongue under a loose tooth and being like, oh snap. It's a weird sensation. Like I was exploring the hell out of that.
But I didn't. I literally did not do that. As soon as I recognized that something was loose, I would use my thumb and just kind of wiggle it real hard to the point that I would just rip it out, and it would get all bloody because, like you said, it wasn't ready. It was like, hey man, we were getting ready. We were setting up the procedures. There's a whole 10-step process. We were on step 2. What the hell happened? I went, it was loose. Somebody get salt water.
It was loose. Dude, yeah, no, I definitely lost a couple teeth early. Definitely lost a couple teeth. It's just, human mouths are weird, bro. What are you gonna do?
Thanks everybody for listening. We started with proper phone etiquette and we ended up with generational strife, and we, just like you guys, have no idea how we got there either. We hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you next Thursday. If you want to support us, we have a Patreon page. Rhuminus, will stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I upload to YouTube, and I've also published 2 books. You can support us that way as well, if you'd like. I thought of a question, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily thought-provoking.
This is the problem with when we have when we don't have our Bing Bong. I typed in thought-provoking questions, and then it gave me 365. The first article is 365 thought-provoking questions. They all suck shit. They're all like, "What do you celebrate? Do you celebrate the things that you do have? Have you ever done anything lately worth memory?" It's all these fake inspirational bullshit things. What is worse, failing or never trying?
Oh my god.